I mean, the timer is visible as well, yes.
Sure. So we are live streaming on YouTube now. And Manjari would request you to be on mute as well. Others, leaders would request you to be on mute. Rahul, open to you. Then we start with the Q&A after 10 minutes of slot.
Got it.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So, hello, everyone. Thank you, first of all, for the opportunity given to us. We hope to make the most of it. So let me just start off by introducing the company, BONATRA, right? So BONATRA, and like it says on the screen, we're a holistic health company, right? So what we do is we help people get healthier and disease-free by helping them reverse their chronic health conditions. And also at the same time, we want to make it fun for them. So we help them to do that by digitizing their bodies. I'll talk about what I mean by this in the coming slides. Before I move on, I would want to quickly tell you the founding story of BONATRA, how BONATRA came into being what it is today, right? So I myself had gone through multiple health issues about, say, 5 years back, where I was diagnosed to be pre-diabetic and I had to undergo a surgery because of my gut issues. Post that, I realized the importance of being healthy and maintaining a good lifestyle, right? That's when I started researching into the elements of being fit and what it entails, what comes along with being fit and what being healthy means. And over time, it became my passion. And same goes for my co-founders, Amit, Manjari, and Raman as well. I mean, all of us are very, very passionate about helping people get healthy and fit. And very luckily, all of us have been able to make our passion into a profession now. And that's how BONATRA came into existence. So what we do today is we work with people who are affected by cardiometabolic conditions, like to name some of them, things like, say, diabetes, hypertension, thyroid, PCOD, weight issues, and all of these, right? I mean, all of these conditions stem from one root cause, something called insulin resistance. And we aim to help people eliminate this problem completely from their life, right? So that's why we work on fixing their lifestyle, letting go of a problem, which is the root cause, which is insulin resistance. We have a certain way as to how we approach it, which I'll talk about in the coming slides. But needless to say, the market presents itself as a huge opportunity for us. Unfortunately, more than 25 crore Indians are either affected by diabetes or have issues like blood pressure, hypertension, right? And then these conditions are never standalone. They tend to bring along multiple problems with them, right? Some things which I've mentioned on the screen already. So we are targeting these people. We want to start off. We have started off already. We started off in April. We started off by targeting people in India, and we hope to grow beyond and cross borders, because our solution is completely delivered online and people can utilize it from the comfort of their houses. So one more thing we're trying to do, the market again is presenting an opportunity for us, is we are trying to bridge the gap which today's health solutions provide, the regular modern medicine based health solutions. Like some of them, if I can quickly kind of name, an average Indian who is affected by one of the cardiometabolic conditions spends about 4 lakh in his lifetime just to kind of manage these problems. He, unfortunately, in most of the cases, never gets rid of it completely. And the person who is on medication for a sustained period of time tends to develop a lot of side effects. And then also the symptoms are just getting subsided. The problem is not getting solved. The other problems which we realize exist is there's no standardization of a solution. I mean, to put it crudely without any offense, your quality of solution depends on the quality of your doctor and the amount of time he's able to invest in you, right? So, and the last thing is, in India and probably across the globe also, health is treated as a very scary, serious issue. When people go into hospitals, it's mostly like a sad environment everywhere. We're trying to kind of make becoming healthy also seem like fun. So that's why we work in communities, right? So apart from making a solution cost effective and a sustained one, which a person can kind of self-sustain, we're also introducing tech to personalize the solution for each of the persons, right? Because everything about a human body is different from the other person. So we are trying to personalize the solutions. And like I mentioned, the numbers, I mean, 250 million people in India today are affected by the cardiometabolic conditions. Yeah, before I go on about how we do it, I'll tell you, talk a little bit about the team. So it's 4 of us as founders, and all of us come with diverse experience, having worked in industries of different scales, different sizes, in different fields. Like I have mostly been working on the sales operations sides, helping businesses scale up. Ramanpreet has been building processes at scale for large companies. Amit has been a technology guy. He has helped scale startups from scratch. And Manjri Chandra, of course, probably some of you already know her. She's our medical lead. She's been in this industry for 23 years and has embraced newer versions of it, like newer things like functional medicine and nutritional medicine to bring in a practice, right? So our core also stems from her philosophies. Now, to talk about BONATRA's solution to the problems which I spoke about is 5-pronged solution, and everything we do is led by a doctor. Our solution is centered around a doctor because a doctor obviously is the most important stakeholder in the medical fraternity. So we are building a solution for the doctor and through him for the people as well. So we, in our packages, if I have to put it truly, sell wearable sensors, which include things like CGM. Some of you would have heard of it, a continuous glucose monitor. We are also coming up with newer devices like smart rings, retinal analyzers, and we also use data from smartphones and other devices the person might be using today. All this data is fed into our app where we are analyzing this data to create insights for that person. At the same time, we are building models through deep learning for the future use to be able to become predictive. And our solutions are 100% self-sustainable. The person can run the program by himself with the help of an app, though we provide a support in terms of health coach. And our program does not entail medication. We do use some amount of supplementation. We do not add extra medication from our side. Our goal is to kind of get this person on a natural, regular lifestyle. Now, how it works is there are 3 steps to it: analysis, calibration, and treatment. So how analysis starts is once a person onboards with us, when a doctor refers a patient, first thing we do is understand his body by collecting all the data from the IoT sensors and the comprehensive diagnostic tests which happen. The doctor after consultation adds his inputs to it, post which with the help of an app, a lifestyle modification program is created, which includes a diet plan, a fitness plan, other plans, including we have counseling for stress and we have habit formation plans. Now, all these, once they're created on the app, a health coach is assigned for the person to act as a personal trainer, buddy, or relationship manager who will help him, motivate him, guide him to carry out this program. Though this program can be done on his own, the human angle is brought in to ensure adherence, right? And the app kind of keeps getting smarter when the data keeps getting fed and keeps generating insights as the programs proceeds. And that's how we kind of complete the journey. To talk about what we offer, there are 2 products, right? One is a consumer app and one is a doctor app, because we work with doctors very actively. A consumer app is enabled to help the person to track all his health parameters, and it syncs with any of the device the person might be using across platforms, including Android and Apple. Apart from this, it also generates insights, smart insights, and instant insights to help the person correct his habits, including diet, sleep, exercise, and other things. The doctor app is for the doctor to kind of talk to his patron to map, to track all the changes which are happening in his parameters. At the same time, he can do multiple other things like access the health reports and also talk to a health coach or see how much he's like what is his earnings, etc. Plus, so we have made 2 functional apps for the doctor and 1 for consumer. Now, what BONATRA is trying to do in the future is become a one-stop solution for all the health-related dream needs of a person, including consultations, which are doctor consultations. AI-enabled app is already there. We are trying to add more modules to it, make it more smarter. A person will be able to consume whatever supplements is consuming today. He'll be able to get through us, and pathology, which is testing. Right. Very quickly, we are trying to become like a UPI in fintech, where we are creating a unified layer of all the devices a person is using today. All the data is captured in one place, and the person is able to get all the insights from here. how we are impacting society in three ways: individual, community, and healthcare. Healthy individual obviously is a boon to the society. He's more productive at work and more involved in family life. We are helping reach we are trying to reach the masses by being very cost effective. And we also run a program called BONATRA Champions, where we offer our packages for free for certain set of people who probably can't afford it. And for the healthcare professionals, we are making data more accessible, more real time, and also helping them upgrade themselves to the advent of technology, which is kind of progressing every day very fast. Just some of the examples of how our patrons have been progressing. I mean, there have been thousands of patrons in the last 8 months since we have been functional who have, to be honest, it's inspiration for us, who have been able to turn around their life in short period of time. And yeah, we work with doctors across the country, like I've mentioned. And thanks to them, we have been able to add value to our patrons, and also doctors feel that they have been able to get value from us. And then that's how we want to progress also along with the doctors. Yeah, I mean, that's about it from.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Just want to check the timer. Just a minute. Give me a minute for a timer. We open for questions.
Can I go first?
Yes, please.
Hi, this is Nitin. Can you explain a little bit more about the cost plans and what does it take for a consumer to do? I understand it's a wearable, but does it have a CGM patch, and is that linked to the app? Can you just talk about that as well?
Sure. So like you rightly mentioned, we sell packages which start from 2,000 rupees, right? Which includes a CGM. A CGM is on basis of all our plans. Basis of the CGM, we then the next step we do go for is a diagnostic testing, post which a doctor consultation happens, and a lifestyle plan is made for the person. For a 1-month plan, we charge around 2,000 rupees. For a 12-month plan, it's around 23,000 rupees. And depending on, to be very honest, paying capacity of the person, we sometimes end up giving discounts also. We do have a lot of patrons coming in through doctors, like doctor referrals. So depending on doctors' recommendations, we also kind of manage our prices for it. So it does, as of today, there is one device, CGM. In next 3 months, you'll be seeing 2 more devices coming in from BONATRA.
So all it does is monitors the glucose and accordingly tells you how much insulin you need to inject yourself, right?
No, not really. Even if you're not on insulin, we try and analyze the glucose patterns of the person. I mean, how the body is behaving throughout the day. When he's eating a specific food, for example, which the body is not accepting, we figure out what is right for him, what is not right for him, how much amount of carbs he should have, and what time. And then accordingly, we also are able to define a complete diet plan for him. We also then are able to tell him when he should be able to work out, because when the sugars are high, for example, we recommend him to go and burn them out. So it's not just for insulin; it's for anyone. Say someone who's also looking to manage their weight or has any other cardiometabolic conditions.
Look, a lot of other things you mentioned are more advisory in nature. My question is more on the medication. How are you talking to the patient about the variability of the glucose, and accordingly, are you injecting glucose or telling them how much dosage to use? That's quite important, right?
Correct. So yeah, I mean, I'll just say let's take an example of a diabetic patient itself. So we use a doctor first of all to who is on our interface, who is managing the program, titrating the glucose, titrating the insulin levels if at all the person is using insulin. But the goal is to get this person off insulin in the first 3 months itself. And the data, if you're talking about how the data is being interpreted, our app is smart and it gives insights. Say, for example, they see a sudden spike in the sugar levels of the body. They'll send out a notification. It also sends out a WhatsApp message so that the person is not missing the notification and talks about what he should do. For example, if it happens, say, at around 4 p.m., we tell him to go take a walk, kind of so sugar levels normalize. So if the sugar levels go down, which is even more scarier, we ask them to consume small amount of carbs. So it's an actionable insight.
Let me help you conserve time. So basically all it does is regulates what you intake, right? But how much you intake and when you intake, that's really what you're guiding the patient as, because that's why you need CGM. Otherwise, you can just do it 2 times a day rather than continuous monitoring, right?
Yeah, it's not just
It's
what
okay
he
to
has to
fix a
consume.
habit. Let's say if I'm used to having a snack at 4 p.m. and it tells me every time I have a snack, my glucose jumps 100 points, I'll reduce the snack or, not have a snack at all. So that's really what you're doing.
Correct, but it's personalized for his body, and also apart from the snacking, it's also on how much he should do his activities, also how he should space out his activities, and how much sleep he should get.
Sorry, and what's the innovation here really? Because CGMs have been around for many years. There is nothing new about it. Apps that guide you in exercising or habits have been around for years and decades. So what's really new here?
So two things. I mean, how we are interpreting the data from through the app is different versus. I mean, there are like maybe one or a couple of other players who are able to crack the CGM and give insights through it. Secondly, like I mentioned, we are also doing deep learning through the amount of information we are collecting, building models, and telling what works best for that person. Sometimes also predicting before something goes wrong as to what he should be doing that day, based on how his sugar levels. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just one question in between. You mentioned about cracking the CGM. I believe that you will be using the Abbott device, right? There's no other product in the market which is approved as of now.
Yeah, we're using an Abbott Libre device, yes.
Yeah. Do you have authorization from Abbott to be using it?
Yeah. So we have been working with Abbott. In fact, we are securing their listing, and we have their. I mean, we have been working with them, so they are pretty aware of us using their services. Yes.
Awareness is different. Having an authorization is very different.
I mean, Raman would tell you, we have spoken to the national head. I'm sorry, I'm missing his name. Who had helped us?
We've spoken to the South Asia head. Explain them that we are trying to launch a pro CGM along with AppSync and Insights at the lowest cost that is available in the Indian market as of now. He has given us our blessings, as well as they have only authorized the stock of CGMs that we have right now, as well as in the future. So at the highest leadership about South Asia head of CGMs or point of care devices is aware of it.
But I wouldn't have shared the API with you on the app, right?
We didn't need to, because we had cracked the CGM before hand itself. Amit here is the CTO.
No, I understand. Cracking is possible. I clearly understand cracking is possible. How do you actually ensure that the readings actually match with what Abbott is actually intending to?
So what we do is, we get the readings from the sensor that they provide in the reader. We have calibrated our readings, to map almost to like 5% error rate to what Abbott is giving. And we do disclose that to our consumers as well.
Okay. How many samples?
So this is more than 1,000 consumer samples.
1,000 samples or 1,000 CGM devices?
CGM devices.
So you used it on 1,000 CGM devices?
So 1,000 CGMs we have put on consumers. We have the entire data that we read manually. And based on that, we have calibrated our devices.
Okay.
May I ask you some questions? Right. Okay. Just let me be to the basic. I would like to ask you the basic, right? You said somewhere down the line that you have used machine learning. So my interest is there. So when you're talking about machine learning, so how much data have you actually taken for training your model, number one, right? Because it involves, you need clinical data, right? Yeah. So we need to know from where you got it, and and how, what is the distribution of the data you have taken, because that is very important. Otherwise, always bias is there. Number one, that's right. And second, even though you are having doctors in in between, your app is not completely taking care of anything. So, but you are having your doctors on other side to interact with the patients also. So my question is, right, what about the regulatory aspects as far as concerned? So have you got any government permission to do that? Okay, because you're talking about, even though you're not talking about giving drugs or everything, still it is kind of a therapeutic device, right? And then you mentioned somewhere in your slide, you have taken into consideration HIPAA. Now I would like to know, what are the other standards have you taken into considerations? Have you are dealing with something like FAIR or something? Are you planning for interoperability, or you can say compatibility with the NDHL, right? And last question of mine, Sorry to go on a railroad like that. These are 4 questions which I wanted to ask you. You are talking about, most of the time you're talking about is mostly urban related, right? Now, what about the rural? So how are you going to approach them? Because there is one big issue of our internet connectivity, right? So if you need to keep monitoring, the data needs to come from there. So if you could clear me this 4, that would be wonderful.
Maybe Amit, you can start with the first question. I'll take.
I hope you remember all my 4 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so currently, right, our model is still being trained. The data that we have collected is mostly from the patrons we have put the CGM on. It's not a huge sample set, but that's why we have the human element also, where a health coach is permanently assigned, who checks the report, the doctor is assigned, and we don't directly tell this on the app that, you know, this is the thing you have to do. It is always routed by, right? The model is not complete. Right?
How accurate is your model now, as of now?
Support and confidence would be somewhere around 80%. It's nowhere close to 95-98% yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what about the questions related to regulatory aspects?
The regulatory, Rahul, do you want to take it up?
Yeah, so we like you mentioned, right? So we don't work on providing any medications, and any prescriptions written are written by the doctors. And if any medical advice, say titrating the insulin or any other consumption of any other say injectable or a tablet is being told by the doctors itself. So we are and also the contact we do with the doctors, the complete liability is with the doctor. So we are not right now liable on the medical, I mean, say giving prescriptions or such things. So we have right now not approached any bodies as of now.
Ma'am, to add on to what Rahul said, the device that we are using right now is approved to be used across the world. Abbott is using an FDA approved device. It's the same device that we are putting on the consumers. We are pulling the data out of it. So the device is approved. In India, doctors are approved to provide the prescription of medicines and insulin basis data. So we are not even giving that, right? So there is a doctor and there is Abbott approved device, and you already we talked about that the data security that we're trying to keep is we're trying to push towards HIPAA compliance. So I hope that.
So what
You are not yet approved to extract data from
Yes.
Yeah.
device.
But still, you need to look into is your mobile app. Your app is there, right? So nowadays we are having stricter regulations, and there is upcoming draft is also there. So your device is somewhere it is working. It's a software which is trying to versus a medical device. It might not be a digital therapeutic, but still it is a SAMD. So you need to definitely look into it, which is going to be, it will have a major issue. Now, what about the next question of how compatible are you or planning with respect to NDHB blueprint? I mean, what are the other, this one, what you can say, standards you're trying to look into? HIPAA is fine. Sincerely speaking, in India, as of now, I don't think so for insurance, we are really using that much of HIPAA. We are talking about the other standards, right? So what type of standards are you using?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. There are other standards like ISO 20007:1 to around 2018, which are information security standards, right? If we go through with HIPAA compliance, we also get compliant with these standards as well, right? So we are in the process of getting it done. We are quite aware of the NDHB.
Amit would request you to be precise because your time is up. We cannot give an extension of the time.
Right.
Yes,
so
you.
We are in the process. It's not compliant yet. So I don't want to give the wrong idea that we are compliant. We are not yet. But we will certainly be compliant because, like you mentioned, right? There are no two ways about it in the future. So we'll have to be compliant.
You need to look into medical coding. That's very, very important.